Hello everybody and welcome to Backfire 301 Viscera Cleanup Detail 101, where I teach you about stuff about Viscera Cleanup Detail. And today's topic is gonna be the welder. I'm gonna go over some of the basics of the usage of the welder and I'll slowly get to the more advanced usage or the more advanced things that you can do with it, but I'm gonna start with the real basics. So this is the welder gun. It looks like this. You switch to your hands and you just click on the gun and now you have it equipped. You left click to shoot. You can either use the drop key, which is set in here. The drop to button, I set it to mouse 4, but the default should be G. You can throw it out by just pressing the drop to button, or you can just switch to something else. Like for me, I'll switch it to hands. And there's a reason why I double tap the menu button, and I'll get to that in a bit. So the welder gun, right? So usually in Viscera Cleanup Detail, you're gonna be using the welder gun to fix bullet holes. That is usually the main usage of the gun. The welder gun can be also used to fix the welding scars, the blue scars that you see in some of the main levels. These large, veiny, eggy type things you might see in incubation emergency and pestilent penitentiary, they're used to burn them. And also these larger type bullet hole thingies, I like to call them, in revolutionary robotics, especially those robotic footprints and such. You use the welder gun to fix them all. Now the welder gun not only can also do those things, but it can also burn trash in general. Like for example, all of these paper type trash, you can just get burned. You can just weld them and they get burned to a crisp and just leave like soot marks. That's only if it's paper. If it's some paper kind of like, if it's a trash that's type of paper, then once you finish burning it, it's gonna just turn into a soot. However, if you burn something that's not exactly paper, like this cup, it's going to turn into a burnt thingy here. It won't necessarily burn the entire thing into a soot, but it's going to turn into a, this thing. However, I think you can burn this crisp thing into a crisp, into soot. I think so. Yeah, but then you can burn the thing into more soot. So yeah, technically it's still possible. You can also burn the bullets. Oh, just left them. Oops. You can also try to burn the bullets into a crisp, but it's very small and very hard. So I recommend you not do that, as was demonstrated just now. You can also burn glass into soot. That's interesting. And if it were a body part, if it were a large body part, if it were like a large alien body or a large full body in general, it's going to get burnt into a large meatball. If you were to burn a smaller body part, it's going to turn into a smaller meatball. And if you were to try to burn a large body bag, well, it's going to turn into 3 bigger meatballs. Now, usually, sometimes when random, the bigger body bags will turn into 3 meatballs and also leave more soot. But in this clip, I didn't get that happening. I think it's just random chance, but it does happen. I swear to God, it does happen. And if you were to try and burn these boxes or something, they turn into a crisp. They do turn into crisp, but they leave even more soot marks, as you can see right here. They also burn to big crisp. You can still burn the bigger crisp, but really it's just a waste of time. Same goes for the excuse me. Same goes for the barrels. They're gonna have the same effect. Same goes for these. I'm not sure what it does to these regular items, but I'm pretty sure it does the same thing. Yeah, indeed. And if you try to burn these biohazard bins, same thing happens. And the same goes for the buckets. So yeah, I'd recommend you not do that. Yeah, that's about it. And if you were to burn something that's not a bullet hole on the wall, like for example this part right here is not, doesn't have a bullet hole. If I were to burn even a little bit, it's going to leave another bullet hole or like a welding scar for you to fix, and you have to like fix it. So yeah, just fix the hole, fix the scar, yeah. And that's if you hold on a surface that doesn't not have a bullet hole or anything of that type on it. So, but for example, if I were to like even if I were fixing bullet holes, I cannot use it for a prolonged time, otherwise the gun will overheat. As you can see right here, the welder gun is like very hot, and it's gonna overheat, and it's going to even leave more soot marks. So here I'm gonna go into more detail about the overheating levels of the welder gun. So you may notice that when you burn a bullet hole, it takes this amount of time, nearly a second or so. However, if I were to try and do this 4 times in a row, so that would be something like this. Okay, yeah, the first one didn't register, but you get the idea. If you can notice, the time it takes to fix the second, third, and fourth bullet seems to gradually decrease. As you can see, I'm gonna demonstrate it again. Yeah, you can clearly see that it gradually decreases the time it takes to fix the bullet holes. So this is because of the overheating levels. As the overheating levels increase, the time it takes for you to fix the bullet holes also decreases. So like maybe you need like 1 second to fix one bullet hole, but if you were to do them 4 times in a row, then maybe you can do like 4 bullets in 2 seconds. That's another thing that the overheating levels do. That's why the welder is so dangerous, but it's also very crucial. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually very useful for cleaning and everything else. It really simplifies your work. As you can see right here, I don't have to drag every single body to the incinerator. I can just turn them into meatballs and just, you know, just throw it. Just throw them. Because when they're burned into a crisp, they don't leave. As you can see, they don't leave blood. In contrast to the full bodies, they do leave blood. So yeah, it's very useful, you know. Okay, now I'm gonna get into some of the more advanced usages of the gun. Advanced as in, this is what I do with the gun that you may or may not know how to do. So like for example, me just, you know, just throwing the gun right away. So if you are a regular player or like you watch other people play this game, you may notice that it takes a very long time for them to like throw the gun away. Something like that. But if you're a regular viewer of my channel, or even if you're a first time watching this, I throw the gun like this. Immediately. There is no waiting time in between the switching hands to. That's because I use a trick that I would like to call instant welder throwing. And I'm the one that found out about this myself. Pretty proud of myself about that. But here's how it works. First you you switch to something else. You switch to another tool, but then you immediately press the drop tool button, as I show you right now. The drop tool button here, it should be default. G should be default, but I set it to mouse 4. So you just need to switch to something else. Like for example, I'm gonna switch to hands, and then when it's switching, you press the drop tool button. Because if you just press the drop tool button, it's gonna switch to the map. That's cool if you need the map right now. But what if you're like, you know, what if you need the what if you need to switch to hands immediately instead of the map? Well, this is where this trick comes in. Right, for example, if you want to switch to the sniffer, you just, for example, the sniffer is the number 3 key on your keyboard. So let me just switch to the sniffer real quick. Press 3 and then press the drop 2 button. I immediately switch to sniffer, and I can really tell that everything else here is very dirty. But I still have to pick it up with the hands. Yeah. So yeah, this is very neat if it's just for like, even if for not just for speedrunning, but even for like regular gameplay. Like for example, maybe you wanna like just burn this. Okay, but now I don't need the gun. Don't need to use the gun for now. So I wanna throw it away. So boom, there we go, and then just grab the things into the bin. So yeah, it's very useful and very neat, even for like regular gameplay. The next thing I want to talk about is frame saving. It's also something that I found out about the welder. So if you notice, every single time, almost every single time I interact with the welder, I always double tap the menu button. There's a reason for that. Very weird reason, but this is VCD we're talking about. Everything about this is weird. But for some reason, every time you interact, for example, if you throw away the gun or take it back, like it reduces your frames, like as you can see right here. I'm gonna show it to you right now. Yeah, you can clearly see the frames are really dropping. I don't know, it's something about the welder that it just does this to your game. You may or may not experience this yourself also. However, there is a way to fix this, and that's by double tapping the menu button. Maybe you need it a couple times because that was quite a lot of frame drops. Yeah, if you do it a lot of times, it might take a while to have it come slowly fix. But if you're only doing it, if you're like only just throw the gun away and then pick it up for like once you double tap, the frames come back to you. You can really feel it. For example, if I do this and then this again, and yeah, you can feel it. Makes sense. So yeah, this can also be used in the regular gameplay. So now whenever you're using the welder and your frames are just dropping, remember to just, just double tap. Now the third thing that I like to do with the welder is I can save it in my inventory. Now, this is very interesting. If you were to use the welder in VCD, you know that you cannot save this in your inventory regularly. Like you cannot switch to something else without throwing the gun away. Which means you have to bring the gun around everywhere you go, regardless of where you are. Like, if I'm cleaning here, I'm finished here, need to bring the gun over to do this, blah, 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 blah. And, it just wastes time, really. And there is a way to keep this in your inventory. Now, if you are to play multiplayer games, and you might notice this happening sometimes, and yeah, there's a reason for that. At one point in my life, I thought that this can only be achieved due to the server lags. The way that it happens is that during the animation to switch to the welder gun, you can immediately try to switch to something else. Like for example, so it's in my 4 key. So as I'm picking up the welder, there is an animation to turn into the welder. But if you're not playing in a server and there's no lag at all, it immediately switches to the welder. However, in a multiplayer game, you may notice that there is a downtime in switching to the welder, and then as that downtime is happening, if you were to switch to something else, the welder would immediately go into your inventory. So I just replicated that, except it's in single player. So let me teach you how. For some reason, if you were to grab the welder gun, but you hold down left click instead of immediately letting go. This is me just clicking left click once. This is me holding left click. There is a downtime in between you switching hands to the welder gun, and we're gonna use that to our advantage. As the animation starts, immediately try to switch to hand sniffer, mop, whatever it is. I'm gonna switch to hands because it is the fastest way to switch. So, like for example, immediately I'm going to hold down left click, and immediately try to switch to hands. By immediately, I mean just, spamming the 2 button. The button number 2. The number... Num key number 2, switching to hands. You know what I mean. Yeah, just hold down left click as you're grabbing it, and then just spam. It also works for the map. Also, let me, for example, if I just spam, and I'm just keep spamming 1, and then switch to the map. Now the thing is in your inventory, and to bring it up again, just press 4. And it also works even if you have something on your 4 inventory. Let me just go find a broom real quick. Okay, so here I have a broom with me, and so as you can see, I'm going to try and put this into my inventory. Okay, now it is in my inventory, but I can still switch to my broom. If I press 4 right now, I switch to the broom, but don't worry, I just need to scroll the mouse wheel, and voila, the gun is still here. Same goes the other way also. Let me just demonstrate. So if I were to keep this in my inventory first, and then take this, right, then it would still be in my 4 slot. Let me, like, for example, I can, in this situation, I can press 4, it's gonna show the gun, or I can still just, just scroll the mouse wheel. It's going to be in your inventory regardless of what you take first, either the broom or the gun. If you like kept it in your inventory and press 4, but you don't see the gun, don't worry. Just scroll. Just take your mouse wheel and scroll it. The gun will eventually show up. In fact, scroll down. Scroll down. Just scroll down. You scroll down, then the gun's gonna show up. That's because there's like 2 or 3 slots in the num key 4 slot. So they're keeping like multiple 2s in that specific spot, even though it may seem like there's only 1. So yeah, you can also technically have a shovel in there, but it's impossible to take the shovel and the broom. It only works for the welder because the welder's weird in VCD. Even if you have anything to ask about it, I have no answers for you, because I don't know how this works fully. But as wanky and wonky as it is, you can use it to your favor. So now, really, cleaning is just much more easier now that you know this. Like, I keep it in my inventory. Let me throw that away. We don't need that. Broom's useless except for 1 map. Let me keep that away. Let me just take that out. Let me just finish fixing this bullet hole, and then let me immediately throw it away, and then keep it in my inventory. See, it makes cleaning so much easier. Poke, 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 poke. Mop, mop, mop. Anyway, I think that's all for me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, do leave them in the comments below. I know I said that I wouldn't know how to answer them, but I'll try my best to answer them anyway. So, hope to see you guys soon. I hope we can see you in the next video, and yada yada yada. Do subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all from me. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good day.